Poverty is not a punishment, it is a program, and wealth, it is not a reward, it is a response to your mental blueprint, your spiritual readiness, your inner command. Before gold ever changes hands, the universe issues a signal. It is silent, but deafening, invisible, but undeniable. Most men miss it, blinded by the noise of fear, scarcity, and self-imposed limits. They pray for riches while feeding the very thoughts that repel them. You say you want abundance, but does your mind house abundance? You chant faith, yet cradle doubt like a dying child. Let this burn into your soul. No wealth is ever transferred until the soul is trained to receive it. There is a sign, and when it arises, only those with awakened minds will see it. Will you, ladies and gentlemen, let us lay aside every illusion for just a moment and confront the eternal truth that governs all human advancement. Poverty is not a condition, it is a conclusion. It is the final product of thoughts long held, fears long nurtured, and doubts long obeyed. The beggar and the billionaire both drink from the same mental fountain, yet one sips poison while the other draws power. You have been told that wealth belongs to the fortunate, the connected, the lucky. I tell you now, wealth belongs to the aware. It responds not to hands that reach, but to minds that command. The transfer of riches, whether material or spiritual, is never arbitrary. It is a transaction between the seen and the unseen, governed by laws as real as gravity and as sharp as judgment. You are not a victim of economy, fate, or background. You are a product of the thoughts you have permitted to dominate your consciousness. The mind is the master key. Turn it rightly, and you may unlock kingdoms. Turn it wrongly, and you will imprison yourself in scarcity. This is not poetry, it is principle, and it will remain so whether you believe it or not. There is a covenant you have made, perhaps without knowing it. It was not written with pen and ink, nor spoken aloud before witnesses, but it was agreed to, signed, sealed, and silently enforced in the quiet chambers of your own mind. It is the covenant of fear, and every time you hesitate, every time you shrink from action, every time you say, "What if," instead of "I will," you reaffirm it. You renew your contract with poverty. Fear is not merely an emotion. It is a force that paralyzes action, suffocates desire, and mutates potential into regret. You may not wear chains on your wrists, but fear has shackled your thinking. You may appear free, but if your mind flinches at boldness, shrinks from risk, and resists the call of purpose, then you are living in a psychological prison built brick by brick with timid thoughts. Now let us expose the truth. Poverty is not a matter of money, it is a matter of permission. Who are you allowing to speak within you? What voice are you obeying in the silence of your decision making? Is it the voice of faith or the whisper of fear? You say you want success, you dream of abundance. But have you not also coddled fear like a fragile guest? Have you not paused before opportunity, not to seize it, but to inspect it for danger? That pause, that moment of doubt, that subtle questioning of your worth, your readiness, your power, that is the agreement. The fear says you are not enough, and you, without resistance, nod your head and back away. Let me speak to your higher self now, the part of you untouched by weakness, uncorrupted by the opinions of others. That higher self knows this truth, that all riches begin in thought, that wealth is not earned by labor alone, but by the clarity of one's definite major purpose, and the persistence to pursue it when the world calls you mad, that no external circumstance can withhold from you what your mind demands with faith. Yet faith and fear cannot dwell in the same mind at the same time. One must destroy the other, and in most men it is fear that triumphs, not because it is stronger, but because it is more familiar. Fear becomes a companion, a seducer. It whispers lies that sound like wisdom. Be careful. It says, wait until the time is right. But faith does not wait, it walks, it declares, it moves. The poor man, trapped in this silent covenant, becomes an architect of excuses. He says he needs more information, more time, more permission, but what he truly lacks is belief, not belief in God, not belief in others, but belief in himself. That belief is the foundation of all greatness. It is the root of every fortune ever built. Without it, you are like a man with seeds in his hand, but no will to plant them. Fear rewires your inner dialogue. It infects your language. You say, I'll try. Instead of I will, you say someday. Instead of today, you hide behind logic, while your soul is screaming for action. This is the hidden cost of fear. It not only stops motion, it corrupts identity. You forget that you are the creator, the initiator, the captain of your fate. You begin to live reactively instead of powerfully. Desire without faith is daydreaming. Action without belief is wasted motion. And persistence without purpose is slavery. You must reclaim the inner dominion that fear has occupied. You must rise up in your mind and tear up that covenant. Refuse to agree with fear one more day. Refuse to call comfort your goal. Comfort has never built an empire. It has never invented, discovered, or transformed anything. Comfort is the great deceiver. It offers ease in exchange for excellence. Look around you. Every monument to human achievement was first a bold thought carried out in defiance of fear. The airplane was not built by cautious minds. Nations were not founded by men who waited for certainty. Wealth is not attracted to those who whisper. It comes to those who declare. The world does not respond to need. It responds to belief made visible through persistent action. You have the power to end the contract. You have the authority to revoke your agreement with smallness, but you must speak with new words, act with new resolve, and think with new fire. The mind that created your limitations can create your liberation. The only thing standing between you and your inheritance is the lie that you are not yet worthy to claim it. Break the covenant, starve fear, feed faith, and the moment you do, you will feel the atmosphere of your life shift. Not because anything outside of you changed, but because you finally did. Wealth does not wait. It does not pause for the hesitant, nor does it consult the uncertain. Wealth moves swiftly like lightning seeking the tallest tower, the boldest mind. And here is the divine paradox. While most men cry for riches, they are unwilling to do the very thing that invites them. Decide. They linger at the crossroads of their calling, hoping for some sign from heaven, all the while ignoring the thunder of truth that already roars within them. Indecision is not harmless. It is a crime against your destiny. It is the slow assassination of your desires. Every great fortune began with a decision. Sharp, clear, irrevocable, not always logical, not always popular. But certainty has a vibration. The universe feels it, people feel it, opportunity feels it. Indecision, on the other hand, repels life. It is the stench of doubt cloaked in disguise, sometimes called caution, sometimes called prudence, but at its root is fear wearing a rational mask. And where fear rules, wealth flees. You cannot serve two desires. You cannot walk two paths. The man who stands between two opinions invites confusion into his soul. He becomes a puppet to circumstances, a slave to external voices. The man who refuses to choose will be chosen for, by time, by default, by failure. And let me tell you this plainly, what you do not choose, life will choose in your place, but you will not like what it chooses. It will choose limitation, it will choose mediocrity, it will choose regret. Indecision is not a moment, it is a mindset. It is the mental fog that creeps in when purpose is weak, when faith has gone silent, when desire is no longer burning. It whispers to you, wait. It flatters you with lies such as, you need more time, or you're not ready. But here is the eternal law. Every second you delay, someone bolder is stepping into the place that was meant for you. Every opportunity has a window, and the window is not held open by your excuses. It opens for the ready, and slams shut for the timid. Do not deceive yourself. The habit of indecision shows up everywhere. The business you didn't start, the call you didn't return, the relationship you didn't repair, the book you didn't write. Each time you delay a right action, you rob yourself. You subtract from your potential, and though the world may not see it, you do. Your subconscious keeps a record. It remembers every moment you refused to move, and it begins to believe you are not the kind of person who can move. That is the cost. Indecision is the breeding ground of self-doubt. The longer you wait to act, the more power you give to fear, and once fear gains ground, it will build a fortress. It will take the throne in your mind and rule like a tyrant. It will demand permission for every move, every word, every idea. Soon you will not be living. You will be surviving, not creating. You will be compromising, not choosing. You will be avoiding. But wealth, true wealth in spirit and substance, is created by the decisive. Those who say, I will, and mean it, those who marry thought with action, those who act not when it is convenient, but when it is necessary, and it is always necessary, because the moment of decision is the moment you claim authorship over your life. It is the moment you write your name on your vision and stamp it into reality. The man of purpose does not wait to feel ready. He moves because he is called. He decides not because all facts are available, but because his faith is sufficient. He knows that motion creates clarity, that decisions invite direction, that providence waits behind the curtain of action, not in the shadows of hesitation. Let me speak to your higher nature, the self within you that remembers who you were before fear began to speak. That self knows that greatness does not come to those who ask, should I? It comes to those who declare, I must. Life does not honor the neutral. The soil does not yield to those who stand and stare at the field. It yields to the one who plants, who waters, who believes. You cannot be both cautious and courageous. You cannot tiptoe into power. You must leap. You must decide. You must put your whole mind behind the vision you seek to bring forth. And if you falter, decide again. The power is not in never wavering, but in always choosing, again and again, until the universe and all within it has no choice but to align with your unwavering will. This is the path of the wealthy in spirit, the rich in faith, the powerful in mind. They do not delay, they decide, and in that moment creation begins. Let no man be deceived. Every thought you dwell upon is a prayer. Not the kind that is muttered with folded hands in the dim quiet of a sanctuary, but the kind that is broadcast from your subconscious mind into the very fabric of the universe. And make no mistake, the universe listens. God listens and he answers, not according to your words, but according to your belief. When you carry doubt in your heart, you are not being realistic. You are being religious in the most destructive sense. You are practicing a kind of dark faith, the kind that builds nothing, heals nothing, uplifts nothing. You are kneeling before failure and offering it your faith, your energy, your imagination. You are saying, I do not believe I am worthy. I do not believe I am ready. I do not believe this can happen for me. And because belief is the law of creation, it shall be so. Understand this, doubt is not passive. It is active, it is creative, it is magnetic. Just like faith, it moves unseen forces. Just like faith, it has consequences. The mind that doubts itself sends out instructions to the world around it. Reject me, resist me, block me, and the world, ever obedient, complies. Doors close, opportunities vanish. People sense the hesitation in your voice, the uncertainty in your handshake, the self-cancellation behind your smiles. Doubt is the great saboteur. It is the invisible hand that unbuilds your life one day at a time. You do not need enemies if you have doubt. It will speak louder than your dreams, move faster than your plans, and argue harder than your convictions. It disguises itself as caution, as analysis, as humility, but it is none of these things. It is treason to your purpose. You were not born doubting. You were trained to. Somewhere along the path, you accepted a message from the mediocre, the fearful, the defeated. You absorbed their hesitations and made them your own. You heard, "Be careful," more than you heard, "Be courageous," and now your mind hesitates by habit, but let this truth strike deep: doubt is not the presence of wisdom, it is the absence of decision. It is the echo of a soul afraid to commit. What is faith, if not the decision to believe before the evidence appears? What is power, if not the refusal to retreat in the face of uncertainty? The greatest men the world has ever known, those who have bent history, shaped industries, birthed revolutions, they too had doubts, but they never worshipped them, they never fed them, they overrode them with desire, with purpose, with persistence. They prayed a better prayer. Let me speak plainly. The mind is the altar, and thought is the offering. If you place fear and sabotage on that altar daily, you will reap their bitter fruit. If you entertain worry, question your worth, and allow hesitation to reign, you are praying for the very things you say you do not want. You are watering the weeds and starving the harvest. Do not say you want success if you still speak failure fluently. Do not beg for abundance while thinking in terms of limitation. Every time you tell yourself, "I can't," "I'm not sure," "what if I fail," you are folding your spirit, piece by piece, into a smaller version of itself. And yet, the divine spark within you still burns, even under the ash of your doubt. Desire is divine. It is not foolish. It is not a coincidence. It is a whisper from the Creator, a call to rise. But desire cannot grow in the soil of doubt. It cannot survive in a house built on uncertainty. You must rebuild the inner structure, lay new bricks of belief, raise new beams of conviction, and seal the roof with persistence, so no doubt may leak in again. Every time you doubt, you are teaching your subconscious mind a dangerous lesson, that your vision is optional, that your dream is negotiable, and the subconscious listens with perfect faith. It executes every command you impress upon it, whether noble or neurotic. Whether you plant the seed of greatness or of fear, it will make it grow. That is its nature. The great tragedy is not failure. It is the failure to believe, for the man who believes cannot truly fail. He may fall, but he will rise. He may stumble, but he will progress, because belief keeps him moving, and motion is the path to mastery. But the doubter, the double-minded man, drifts, and drifting is death in disguise. Ask yourself, in the hidden corners of your mind, what are you truly praying for? Are you praying for strength while imagining weakness? Are you praying for wealth while expecting struggle? Are you praying for purpose while living in delay? You cannot receive what you are not willing to become, and you cannot become what you constantly question. Every moment is an altar, every thought a prayer. Choose what you place upon it wisely. The greatest lie you've ever been sold is that comfort is safety. That routine is security. That familiarity is peace. But I say to you now, comfort is a coffin. It is lined with soft excuses and padded with quiet fear. It is the silent killer of greatness, and every moment you seek ease over effort, you lay another nail into the casket of your potential. The comfort zone is not a sanctuary, it is a trap. It seduces you with warm repetition, lulls your ambition to sleep, and tells you to be proud of maintaining the status quo. But you were not born to maintain, you were born to multiply. To increase, expand, dominate, and expansion is never comfortable. It stretches, it tears, it demands, it calls forth the part of you that most men bury beneath routine. Listen to me closely. Every man must choose his burial ground. You will either bury your weakness through discipline, pain, and persistence, or you will bury your purpose beneath the weight of comfort, distraction, and delay. There is no middle ground. Life does not tolerate indecision. It rewards those who evolve and forgets those who remain. You have been conditioned to avoid pain, but pain is not your enemy. Comfort is. Pain refines, pain reveals, pain grows, but comfort dulls the blade. It makes the sharp mind blunt. It turns courage into caution. It turns vision into sleepwalking. It turns the fire of desire into a flicker barely visible behind the fog of daily mediocrity. Purpose never grows where comfort lives. They are opposites. Purpose demands movement. It demands stretching. It demands risk. And herein lies the eternal truth. You cannot grow and remain the same. You cannot hold on to comfort and reach for destiny. Something must be sacrificed, and if you do not sacrifice comfort, you will sacrifice the calling that was meant to be yours. Do not be fooled. Comfort comes wrapped in soft language. It says things like, you deserve to rest, you've done enough, take it easy, there's always tomorrow. But every time you listen to this voice, you give it authority, and the voice of purpose, louder, stronger, divine, gets drowned out. Every dream has a voice, every destiny has a frequency, and that voice speaks not in comfort, but in command. Let me tell you what the wealthy, the influential, the powerful already know. Comfort is for those who have finished their race, not for those still running it, and you, my friend, are still in motion. Or at least you should be. The moment you begin to rest in yesterday's effort, you invite today's stagnation, and stagnation is decay. I have walked among those who achieved greatness, and I can assure you, every one of them has made peace with discomfort. They do not flinch at pressure, they do not retreat at resistance, they welcome it, because they know that discomfort is not a punishment, it is a passage, a rite, a confirmation that they are leaving the land of average and stepping into the territory of legacy. Let me ask you, when was the last time you did something that scared you, truly scared you? When did you last step so far out of your comfort zone that your knees shook, your hands trembled, your breath quickened, not from danger, but from destiny approaching? If you can't remember, then hear me now. You are not living, you are waiting. You are not building, you are preserving, and nothing great was ever preserved. It was forged. Faith cannot live in comfort. Faith demands that you walk where there is no visible floor, that you speak what has not yet come to pass, that you move without the map. And why? Because comfort says, I trust what I see, but faith says, I trust what I know. If you are unwilling to be uncomfortable, you are unwilling to live by faith. And if you will not live by faith, you will never lay hold of anything eternal, anything transformational, anything wealthy in soul and substance. The greatest enemy of persistence is comfort. Comfort tells you to stop when you're halfway. It whispers that good enough is good enough, but persistence knows better. Persistence digs deeper, climbs higher, reaches further, because it knows that comfort is a liar. It is a seducer of potential. It is the velvet rope that guards the gates of success, daring only the bold to break through. You were not designed to remain still. The human spirit craves challenge, movement, achievement. You were built for battle, spiritual battle, mental battle, emotional battle, and a warrior has no use for comfort when the war is for his purpose. Your comfort zone may feel like a pillow today, but it will become a prison tomorrow. You will either sweat in growth or suffocate in stillness. So I ask you, what will you bury? Will you bury your excuses, your fears, your fragile self-image, and rise in strength? Or will you bury your purpose, your gifts, your divine calling, because it was easier to settle? This is the truth. Every moment you choose comfort, you dig a grave, and if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day and realize you weren't avoiding discomfort, you were burying your greatness alive.